Hello. We're coming live. I'm almost done with everything. Sorry I look like crap because I didn't put any makeup on today. I didn't put anything on today. It is what it is. It looks like it's a little dirty. Hold on a second. I don't know how this thing gets so damn dirty, but it does. It just gets so dirty. There we go. Hey, now I can see you guys. Now I can see you. Been super busy. I have been ridiculously busy with a whole bunch today. I almost forgot to eat, but I started eating like at 9 o'clock this morning, so I didn't need to eat this afternoon. Hey guys, I hadn't been live on here at all today. I needed a break. You guys should see this work I'm doing. It's ridiculous. All the shit I have to go through. It sucks. It like super sucks. Big old fat you know what. So that's kind of been my day. Hopefully tomorrow. I mean, I got up and got a shower. That's about as much as I can say for myself today. That's it. Other than that, it's just been crazy. Oh my gosh. You guys know I took the car down. Holy crap. I took the car down to Cox Chevrolet. I was still having persistent problems. And I knew it had to be an underlying problem that just my diagnostic tester was not picking anything up. And so when I got there, I was just a wreck because my car was stalling. I was trying to figure out what the heck is wrong with it. The mechanic has been working on it. His diagnostic, every time it pops up, it's fixing whatever's popping up on the diagnostic. If it's, he tests it before he fixes it. But I found out that when I got stranded in Live Oak and that mechanic put the fuel pump, the high pressure fuel pump on, he used an aftermarket part that was defective. And so that aftermarket part was leaking gas in my oil. Yay. So the high pressure pump that I have to replace just was replaced, and I have to replace it again. The guy was in Live Oak. I gave him a call. I doubt he's calling me back, but that kind of sucks. And it's my camshaft solenoids. There apparently is a front one and there's a back one. And they gave me a bill. I hope everybody is sitting down for this, because you're going to need to sit down for this. Everybody sit down. Sit to the down. I got a bill of $3,600 from Cox Chevrolet. But listen to this. So I was talking to a friend. And they're like, how much did they charge you? I said, $3,600. I said, take the fuel pump off. I'll drive it back to Live Oak, right? I'll make the guy replace the damn thing. Okay, take the fuel pump off. Betty. What can go? What can go? And they're like, okay, we'll click the button off of this one. Okay, Eric. Let's come on, Eric. Let's get this going. Okay. How much is my bill? $29.65. $29.65. No. So I'm like, okay. So, and of course, the guy on the other end of the phone, he's like, so I'm like, how, before we got started, I'm like, how's your day? He's like, man, it is one of those Mondays. I'm like, yeah. Well, I can tell you it is one of those Mondays. So I'm talking. So I reach out and I'm like, well, we have a little problem, right? And so they told me, they're like, why in the world are they charging you $2,600? And she's like, you're talking about 4 bolts. I said, what do you mean? It's like, it's 4 bolts. It's not that big of a deal. So and then I got to tell you, I did speak to my mechanic, the one that was doing the work. Now, mind you, none of the work that he did they didn't say nothing about his work. So all of his work that he did was top notch. Nothing wrong with his work. Again, the high pressure fuel pump was put in Live Oak. I remember I was trying to get to Tennessee. Remember that? And I'm 30 minutes from the Georgia-Florida line. We have this, right? We're going. Remember that? We're going. Remember? And then guys, you're not going to believe this. And I'm stuck on the side of I-75. Well, it was that tow truck driver that picked me up that changed out that fuel pump that did that. Everything that Eric did. I got 2 Erics in my life right now, okay? And 2 Erics, one's a Cox Chevrolet and one's my mechanic. So when I say Eric, I mean mechanics, okay? That's the new name that I've got for mechanics. I'm not going to call them mechanics anymore. I'm going to call them Erics, okay? Because I got Erics. I got lots of Erics in my life, okay? I got lots of Erics in my life. And so Eric 1 is saying, wait a minute. How much are they charging you? $3,600 for 4 bolts? Yeah, for 4 bolts, apparently. He's like, that don't sound right. So I'm taking it back to Eric. We're going to pray for a miracle, but it sounds like now that we know what part it needs to be fixed, and I know people are going to say, but I'm telling you, these camshaft solenoids were not pulling up on any diagnostic tool. You had to take it to Cox Chevrolet to put it on that $100,000 machine to find out what was wrong with this car. So I think that's totally unfair that because these are camshaft solenoids. This should be something that you shouldn't need a $100,000 machine to find out. I'm sorry, you just shouldn't. But it sounds like we may truly have found the culprit, but there ain't no way in hell this girl's about to drop another, 4 bills on Rusty Bucket. All right. She's Black Beauty when she ain't costing me an arm and a leg, but she's a Rust Bucket when she's starting to cost me an arm and a leg. Okay. My Black Beauty is turning into a Black Beast. Just saying. So I've never heard of camshaft. Well, something. I don't know what it is. He's got it on the thing. It's definitely a solenoid by the camshaft. I remember him saying camshaft, and I remember him saying solenoid. And I remember him saying there's one in the front and one in the back. That's what I remember. Now, which order all those went in, I can't tell you because I think I was still in a little bit of shock of the $3,600 they were wanting me to pony up. Just say it. You can call it a money pit. Maybe we should watch that movie tonight. Maybe it'll cheer me up. Let's be crystal clear. I have never in my life, I feel like I'm in this never-ending twilight zone. You know what? I just know it. I just know it. There's something on the other side of this. I just feel it. There's something on the other side of this that's just an awesome blessing. I don't know why I feel that way. But if there's not, I'm probably going to be brokenhearted. But I just feel like there's a blessing on the other end of this. There's a blessing on the other end of this. I don't know what the blessing is. I'm kind of hoping the blessing's not another car. I don't want that kind of blessing right now. But I feel like at the end of this is going to be a blessing. So we're just going to keep the fingers crossed. We're fighters. We're tenacious. And sometimes financially irresponsible, okay? Out of all the years on this station, on these channels, I think this is the first irresponsible financial decision I've ever made. It just happens to be the absolute most expensive one. Remember when I was crying about putting my roof on? Remember that? Good gracious. I love my roof. I was crying when it was getting put on, but I love the ending quality, right? I still get the same Black Beauty at the end of all this. She didn't get her hair done. She's not coming back with her eyelashes done either. She gonna look exactly the same. When you get sent off to the spa, you usually come back beautified. I don't see the beauty in her anymore. I'm laughing so hard I'm crying right now. Oh, good gracious. So anyways, that's why I'm over here on this channel. I needed a break. I was dealing with that. I just found that out. I called my mom. I was probably like a freaking raging lunatic on the phone with my mom. Mom's just like, well, let's see what we can. What do you mean the world's falling apart, Ma? There's nothing anybody can do to help me. Well, I love you. Well, I love you. Keep coming back. We'll try it again tomorrow. Oh, good gracious. She didn't get her nails done either. No, she didn't. She didn't get new shoes either. Actually, you know what? As a matter of fact, these shoes better hold up for at least another 6 months, because I think, actually, to be honest with you, I think I bought these last tires a couple years ago. With as many miles as we put on Black Beauty, I need to check the tires. I haven't even paid attention to the tires. That's the one. I tell you what. If I tell you guys anything, this is the one thing I will tell you: oil changes and good tires. Okay. I don't know anything else about cars in there. Let me give you a little bit. Be wise on this. Don't get smart. Don't be like me. Don't be a Betty on this. Don't be a Betty. Be better. Be a better Betty. Okay. Always change your oil and always have good tires. Okay. Don't skimp on the tires and don't miss the oil changes. The reason why is because those tires, I drive a lot. And I'm telling you, I get highly, I don't care about the price of the tire. I can find a reasonably priced tire. If you do your studying on your tires, every one of those little things on the side of that wall, on the side tire, that all means something. It has to do with how fast your car can go with those tires on it. It tells you how those tires handle during different kinds of weather. All those things on the outside of your tire aren't just there for looks, okay? So I would caution you, when the next time you buy tires, is start learning about tires and ratings of tires and what all those numbers mean. Because when you're out there, you can get reasonable tires and have AAA tires and not skid, not slide in snow, be able to do 360s on ice and not slide off the road. You got to buy the right tires. Time to go back to school, folks. Tires are important. And I'm a speed demon, even in slush. Okay? I go the speed limit, just on the higher side of the speed limit. Just thought I'd throw that out there, okay? Just thought I'd throw that out there. That's all I'm saying. I don't break the law. Didn't I say we're not allowed to lie? I told you the meaningless lies are okay. It's the big ones that I care about, okay? But I don't speed. I cross my fingers. Quit laughing at me. I don't speed. I don't like wearing my seatbelt either. But I got too many mama hens up in my chat. If I'm on my live without a seatbelt, you guys are screaming in there, put that seatbelt on, put that seatbelt on. Oh, what has he said? Lifesaver gummies. Now it's cookies and milk. You're a bad influence. I know I am. I'm awful, Pete. I'm awful. When I have sugar, I have sugar fits. I don't know if it was if it's because whenever I was going into the rooms and I was getting clean and stuff like that, I ate a lot of sugar stuff. But I kind of, I really don't eat sweets. So I kind of went. But here lately, I'm drinking soda. I got acne on my forehead. I got little zits right here. Cave life does not do Betty any good, okay? I will be honest with you. I'm not a caveman. I'm not a caver. I don't do well in basement dwelling. I just don't do it. Like, I'm unhealthy. I haven't exercised. I'm ordering garbage to my front door. I'm eating candy, eating ice cream, drinking soda. Day in the life of a basement dweller. This sucks. I gotta tell you, I've been like this for, I don't know how you guys, I know some of you guys are forced to do this just like me. Some of you guys have mobility issues and bed issues and stuff like that. I get it now. It sucks. I'd be looking for a crazy blonde chick with a freaking bullhorn myself on YouTube if I had to do this all the time. Oh my goodness. Goodness gracious. All right, so a little bit of tea time. A little bit of tea time. So we've had a lot, and I mean a lot of participation with people reaching out with their thoughts, their opinions, things. Merle's mom, we love Merle's mom. Merle's mom's been writing. We've had a lot of people. Let me just go through here. We got our Jenna. I don't want to tell everybody's business. I don't know who all I have, but even words of encouragement and love from all you beautiful people. But we got a lot of people that have been participating in everything like that. And I do appreciate you guys telling me about those nasty channels, but I don't pay attention to them. So you don't need to tell me about them. They can't make good content. So they have to try to pull my name into it. See, if my name did not bring them viewership, my name wouldn't be in it. That's why I don't put their name in any of my stuff, is because their name brings no viewership. So you guys have to look at it like that. You guys know which ones are hate channels. Just stay off of it. Don't engage in it. And don't let them upset you. We all know better, right? I mean, either we know Betty or we don't, right? So it is what it is. Let them have their fun. At the end of the day, nobody's ever talking about them. And quite frankly, listen to how they talk. Have them talk like they're uneducated. Do you really want to be getting your information about crime and news from somebody that don't even know what they're talking about? Doesn't even know anything about motion practice, police practices, nothing. All they know how to do is complain and steal content, other people's content. Just saying. Just saying. What else am I doing here? Oh, I was getting into this. That's right. So there has to be a reason why. So we're going to talk about property searches. Okay, property searches. For all those that are just tuning in, if you're here, you probably know me. You probably know that we're talking about Sebastian Rogers. And Sebastian Rogers, for all the people that are new here that have never heard that name before, he is a 15-year-old autistic boy that went to sleep in his bed, according to his mother, in a locked home, locked windows, locked doors. And he's autistic and likes shoes and doesn't like leaving his room much and has sensory issues. Apparently walked out the door in the middle of the night when he's scared of the dark and disappeared forever. So when she woke up at 6 a.m., he wasn't in his bed and she freaked out, and we never seen her freak out again. Apparently it was a one day freak out. He's been gone for well over 90 days. Mom and stepdad have never helped search for him. Mom and stepdad did not immediately go to the media for help. Mom and stepdad ended up packing up everything within 2 weeks of him disappearing. Well, let's back up here. Stepdad decided to disappear for 17 hours shortly after returning home, and police being there for a missing kid. So a little bit about Chris Proudfoot's history. For those that don't know, he was working out of town at the time, 3.5 hours away. So when his stepson went missing, he didn't arrive at home until about 1 p.m. that day. It was within a few days from the time he arrived home, he miraculously had to go back and get a camper that was in a campground independent of his work that was already prepaid. But for some reason, it was an emergency to go back right then and there in the climax or the peak of his stepson's search to go pick up this camper for some unknown reason. But he ended up staying gone for 17 hours. Then after returning home, which is awfully weird, after a lot of public outrage about their failure to look and the fact that they were out eating dinner but would not even go out into the woods to search for their son. Then we have them packing up their camper and, yes, going back to that very same campground that he just had to get out of. So we are here today, and I think a lot of us at the beginning were kind of feeling uncomfortable about the story, even though we don't know these people. We don't know this boy. We just knew that something wasn't sitting right with us. But as always, we are open-minded and we listen to the information and we try to make heads or tails of it. There was an interview that came out that was most notable that we have deemed the green shirt interview. And this was what many thought was their first interview. It was not. Even though many people have learned that green shirt interview because that was their first time learning of the story was from that news clip, they never heard Dutch's interview. And Dutch's interview was wildly different than the story as we know it today. So, where is Sebastian? We don't know, but we know that there has been kind of this line in the sand, if you will, with the Proudfoots when it comes to searching their home. Many people tried to get different types of searchers, not necessarily because people thought Chris and Katie were guilty. There are a lot of people that just don't believe their story. There's something wrong with their story. Their story's a little hinky. And because of that, they're just not getting on board with it. I get it. People are like that all the time. It is what it is. But for the most part, everybody kind of came together to get on board. Not that they had anything or any hidden agenda for the Proudfoots or anything like that, which I'm sure they're very cautious because of everything that's been going on. But they just want to help. They just want to go up there to help. They're not Seth, they're not them. They're just Team Sebastian. They just want to get in there and help. Well, Chris has adamantly stated nobody's going on his property. He doesn't want anybody on his property. He feels that his property was thoroughly searched by law enforcement. And it's really weird because this is a child that disappeared, and they themselves consistently state that he would never walk out of the house without certain things, predominantly his shoes, but definitely his switch. If he was trying to run away, he would have taken things with him. Think about the little kid. Remember we watched those movies? And it was usually back in the, where people lived out in the country or whatever. And the little boy wanted to run away from his home. And so he grabbed a stick in the little handkerchief, and he filled his handkerchief up with as much stuff as he could. And he tied it on his stick, and he's going. He's running away from home, right? And the reason why I'm bringing it down to that, how cute that was, because, we've all watched those little things, how cute they were. They're going to go do it on their own, and they go into the ice cream shop, and the ice cream guy says, well, what are you doing there? So-and-so, well, I'm a big boy, and and then he starts talking, and next thing you know, the boy's going back home or whatever. You know what I'm saying? The point I'm trying to make is that Sebastian is childlike. So you would anticipate that if he was preparing to run away from home, he would be childlike. He'd be thinking of all the stuff he needs to take so he can make it on his own. And put it in his little handkerchief and on a stick, maybe not so much, I'm kind of making it a little more dramatic than it needs to be, but you know what I'm saying? Pack it in a backpack, in a plastic bag or whatever. But I feel like you would have that type of mentality that he's got to make, if he's going to leave, he knows he needs his switch. You see what I'm saying? So that's that's always had me stuck. And then as we learned about Sebastian from, honestly, Katie and Chris has taught us a lot about Sebastian as well. And Angel Love, that's disgusting. You're just a gaslighter. Anybody that says anything that first of all, we don't know who is what, and the last people that were probably seen with him would probably be the ones more responsible than. Don't even respond to him. That's what you call somebody coming in here and trolling and gaslighting. That's what a gaslighting comment is. It's where they stop the chat like they just did to have them stop and go over their comment because they're an idiot. Okay, they get joy out of this. Welcome to YouTube. And the person's probably older than you think. So you get here. Where was I? And then right now, like, I don't even understand where I was going. We were talking about him running away from home. So you would think he would take some things with him. Then we learn from his dad and, quite frankly, Katie and Chris about Sebastian, and all of them know for a fact. All of them have said for a fact, without a doubt, 100%. Both of them, or all three of them. Seth has said it, Katie has said it, and Chris has said it. That he would never walk out of that house without his shoes. And he would never walk out of that house just to walk out of the house at midnight. They don't have a runner. They don't have a child that runs away. If anything, he runs to his room. When they got home in this Duchess interview, she said he went to his room to play toys. When we hear Seth says that he's either in his room or out there on his recliner. His recliner. He has his own chair in his father's house. We never heard that from Katie's house. We never heard her take him to a park either. I feel like she just throws him in that room and tells him to go play with his toys. Stay out of her hair. You know? So... And he doesn't seem like he leaves. I mean, he is 15. I don't even know if either one. I think whenever he doesn't want to go, he doesn't go. Big Lake Nest. I know. I've been hearing that, me and you. I've been hearing about that lake. What is it? Horn Lake, I think is the name of it. I think that's too close to him. I think that's too close to him. Chris is a smart man. I mean, he's not. I mean, He's had some learning disabilities, so he's probably had to work extra hard to be able. He probably had some reading comprehension as a younger child. He probably had to work extra hard to understand what he was reading. He's probably one of those men that just needed to, go into a quiet room away from everybody to study. That's kind of what I think his behavior really does define for me. But either way, I feel like he's smart. Like he would have done something that's out of the ordinary. He would have in a split second, because if his wife, see, this is the thing, if his wife did this, then she's the one with the oh shit factor. So she's the one that would be calling Chris freaking out, and Chris would be the one with the calm, cool, collected head. So Chris would be the one making the decisions on what to do. So he's not going to have the oh shit factor applied to his reasoning and thought process in all of this. Sorry, I'm kind of spitballing out of my head. That's kind of how I'm thinking about it. So he would have been the one thinking for everybody that day. He would have had to have been the one thinking for everybody that day. He would have been the only one that was removed far enough from the situation that he could logically think. So that means, I guarantee that man got on a computer. I guarantee he got on a computer. I guarantee he was doing some Google searches, either just I don't think he would have thought about it at that moment. I don't think that split second, he may have second thought after he had a one or two. I think he would have done a Google search, but I think after one or two Google searches, I think he would have caught himself. But he had to have made some type. I'm interested in finding out when he was talking to Katie, what he was looking at on his phone. Or if he has an independent computer there in his camper. That would be interesting. I know they checked all of their devices, but, just like, what's his face? Stefan Stearns. Meant to pick up any sides. What is it? Let me go up here and read. They set me off 100. Stacy, calm down. I know they do. But you know what? Over the times, you guys are probably new to this side of the drama. This drama. I'm pulling this away. We're not doing anybody that brings the drama here. They're just being blocked. I really don't care about their feelings or anything like that. They deserve to be blocked. But either way, this is the bad side of this is social media, and that's the drama and the hate channels right there. That's why I tell you guys to stay off the hate channels, because you support them. When you go and watch their garbage, like even just to look under the hood, you're padding their pockets. And you're giving them exactly what they want, the click and the view. It's not worth it. Don't even engage. Think of it like temptation. Just stay away. Nothing behind that click is going to make you a better person, and it's not going to help you find Sebastian. It's not going to help us move the needle. So that's the way I look at it. Let them talk. They're allowed to talk just like we are, as long as they're not over here bothering our channels. Let them talk on their channels. We should get story out, but no one knows Seth, Katie, or Chris to he stating fact on anything or believe anything that comes out of any of their mouths. We should he know sides? We don't know these people. No, we don't know these people, but one of the things that I do is I try to look at what their statements are to the facts that we have. And what are their behaviors? And when it comes to Seth, quite frankly, do I think he's a perfect man? No, I do not. But he's a loving father. And how do I know that he's a loving father? Because he cared about what his son was ingesting, whether he was ingesting something natural or chemical. He wanted his son to do great. He cared about his education and getting him the best type of education, and got frustrated when people treated his son poorly in school, like when he talked about the school in California only teaching his son the S. It upset him because his son deserved better. He was teaching his son how to cook. He was teaching his son to be a builder, not a destroyer. Those are things that are taught by a father that loves their kid. He was talking about he takes his son to a park. I mean, we don't even hear that from the mother. I don't know what kind of deadbeat fathers you guys look at, but I'm telling you, the deadbeat fathers that I meet on these streets, like in the real streets, they don't look like Seth. I don't know where you guys are living, but the deadbeat dads don't resemble Seth. I don't know how to. To me, they don't resemble Seth. That's not true, Lisa. Don't you know how to fact find? Do you know how? See, this is the problem. I'm a web sleuth. We dig a little deeper than the surface stuff that most people find out here. There was a time and a place when there was a boy missing in Largo, and we were able to find not only the father's name, social security number, driver's license, we were able to find his location literally in 5 minutes. And that was just the stuff that I could utilize lawfully on the internet. Okay, so I understand you might not be able to do this stuff. But when I work on cases, I dig a lot deeper than many people think. And as you can tell by the presentation, I do know what I'm talking about. And I know it's easy. I don't have to show you proof of my findings. I tell you guys my findings. Now, I do usually take you guys for a ride, but in this case, I have showed you my findings. I have showed all of my findings why I believe there's something wrong with Katie and Chris's story. And the only reason why you're here talking shit is because you're too stupid to connect the dots. That's why. And every time I have to deal with you people up in my chat causing all this nonsense, it stops this. If you don't believe what I say or don't like it, you know what you can do as an adult? You can leave my chat and never come back. But to be in here spamming my chat is disgusting and it's childish. So Lisa, Valero, I hope you grow up. And since you can't seem to control your own bad behavior or leave on your own accord, I will make sure you leave. Okay? You will never have to be here and never have to talk to Betty again. Good riddance. Okay? Now you can go over there and support Katie and Chris. all by yourself. And guess what? I'm going to be over here supporting Seth and his family. Because I can. I can do whatever the hell I want to do. If I wanted to support Chris and Katie, I could support Chris and Katie however I so choose. But I don't associate with people that I think have one even iota, one scintilla of a possibility of hurting a child. I've made that very clear with Don and Candace Wells. I will never, ever, ever, if I think somebody could potentially be a bad guy, I would never work with them and definitely never put 1 cent in their pocket, not even a half a cent. So for me to work with Seth, that should tell you guys a lot. And I'm not even working with him. I just support him. I just support him. And he has the full support of all of my channels. Thank you. The Real Me Too is awesome. Is Jazzy in here? Well, hello, my love. Jazzy. I hope you're doing well. Be Betty, me too. I don't think I said hi to anybody. Be Inspirational, Betty, the other Betty, Joan, Lisa, the other Lisa, not the Lisa Valero. You can kiss my ass, but the other Lisa in here too. I'm gonna come in here. I'm gonna tell Betty. I don't run a channel because I can't control myself. I can't control myself. So let me go over and just tell her about herself. Well, that shows me you can't control your behavior. See, I can control my behavior. You know how I know I can control my behavior? Because a lot of people on these streets really, really tick me off. But you never see me up in their chat trying to convince them, do you? You never see me. You never see Bullhorn. When I'm over there and people who try to use impersonate me, and it's like all these people do is go and click on it and they can see that it's not me. Well, the admins or the mods can. I guess the regular people can't. But either way, if you see me in some place and I'm not acting right, block me because it's probably not me. You can always come over and check if it's me. I remember a couple years ago. I can't remember what it was. I was in this, I think it was a hate channel or something. I was in a hate channel and they were talking about me. And of course, I never go over there. And so it was just one of these days that I was just kind of had like a stick up my butt, and I'm like, F these people. Let me give them a piece of my mind. Right? So I'm over there. And so I'm just like, oh, you guys are idiots. I'm pulling it. And so my mods, I didn't even realize my mods, they're in there spying, they're watching from the bushes. And so I started getting texts and they're like, I think somebody's impersonating you. I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, I saw something in so-and-so's chat. I'm like, it was me. And they take a screenshot and they're like, you wrote this? And I'm like, that was me. Like, oh, that was me. I own it. But the one thing you won't have is what is it? For Muffin Top, right? Keyboard warrior behind an anonymous account, right? I don't do that. Well, I shouldn't say I did go against that rule, didn't I? I did go against that rule because listen to I did go against that rule. I have to check myself because it was just recently. And it was with the mysterious disappearance of the Sebastian Rogers, that crap group that likes to boot everybody out that doesn't vote with their opinion, or if they think they're from the Bullhorn Betty show, right? They think they're from over here, you're automatically blocked, boot, because they don't want me because I'll call their shit out and I'll call it out on public platforms and embarrass them. And they don't like that. They don't like being embarrassed for their shenanigans. They like to hide. They don't like to be exposed for their shenanigans. They like to hide it behind a privacy wall. So anyways, from my political days, and in my political days, I had like 15 freaking accounts because I kept getting booted because every time I said Trump's name would get, I'd get in Facebook jail. I don't know if anybody remembers those days. You couldn't even breathe. It's like, you could only call him Mr. T. from this account. I'll pop back over to this account. I had like 10 accounts. Like, you ain't stopping me. And all our friends would sub up to all the accounts, because that's what we had to do back then. And in order to be activists and advocates, you had to have a shit ton of Facebook accounts, because Facebook wasn't friendly. So anyways, every time I turned around, somebody was pissed off at me. Imagine that. So, you know what? I thought I had to leave all those accounts behind, but I have to tell you, I did happen to go back in them days and dust a couple of those accounts off. One already got hit, but I got a few more up in there. So I still got a couple contingencies up in the mysterious disappearance of Sebastian Rogers. And they're good accounts. They can't even tell. I even made sure that they've been kept up a little bit. Listen to this. They've been kept up so good because everybody kept posting stuff and tagging them in it. So it looks like the account's been active like the last 2 years. It looks like I never even went away. And they got faces. Oh, it's great. It's great. So anyways, I got a few of those up in there. So I'm waiting to get kicked out. I've been checking them on a daily just to make sure I ain't kicked out yet. So I can tell you when I'm down another account. But I did go, I forgot all about them. And I got some weird name accounts too. Mark Appleseed. Don't worry, the Mark Appleseed's not in the mysterious of Sebastian Rogers. So you mods that want to go boot me, you're not going to find my Mark account. You're not going to find Appleseed, Mr. Appleseed. He's a cool dude too, man. He's a cool dude. He really is. So everybody's going to be running over to Mark Appleseed. Oh, good gracious. Barefoot Nani. Maybe I should come up with a Nani one. Or a Nanny. No, but we have Nani McPoppins in here. I don't know, Nani. We might have a McPoppins alias before long. I kind of like it. Actually, she probably, now that I'm thinking about it, that's probably how she got her name. Mr. Appleseed. Mr. Appleseed. I think it'll be easier now with all this AI stuff to really do something with these troll accounts. I think in about 10 more years, I think we'll be a small little army. It'll be me and me. Me and me. I'm just joking. And then as I'm talking about that, I just got an email from DJT. Probably got his hand out. I heard he got jammed up. Actually, on a side note, a friend called me. I'm going to be in New York. I'm going to New York in July. Road trip. But it's probably not going to be a road trip. I can live broadcast some other, but I'll be with people that don't do social media. So I don't like putting people unless they want to. But I don't typically put them up unless they're out there with me. If that makes sense, right? I ain't trying to throw people under the bus. We got stalkers over here on YouTube. Don't need to cause any more problems where there's no problems to be had. Just saying. Nanny times with mommy. Aw, that's so cute. Nanny's times with mom. Good gracious. Why am I in Nanny? I'm in Nannyville right now. Why am I in Nannyville? Lisa Fadnani. Is that your last? I'm calling you Nani. Am I supposed to be calling you Foot Nani? I don't know. I'm stopping. I'm too tired. I've been reading too many paperwork today. Too much paperwork today. I can't even form a complete sentence. Good gracious. Am I having a stroke? Am I stroking out over here? Am I? No. No, I'm just joking. But actually, we've been doing good. I've got everything. See, that's why I said with Chris's speech pattern, I do it too. I always say we. And it's just because when I talk about Bullhorn Betty, I always talk about we, us. So, I don't know. Oh, was I getting back to that? Let me get back on track. Good gracious. So now we're getting back to the whole thing about Sebastian Rogers and the whole fact that they don't want to have people come on their property. And so one of our subscribers here says there has to be a reason why he forbids anyone from searching family property, which I don't think he has legal authority to prevent you to say, oh, you can't search my family's property, and that's so now anybody that walks there is like trespassed or shot. It doesn't work like that, Chris. But only the lawful owner can kick you off unless you're on the property. If you walk out of the house, you can kick somebody off. That's what I can say. I don't know. I don't know that what I'm doing helps anyone, but if it just lets Kathy Bowersox know that this is not going away, then I think she will spill her guts. I keep posting in chats where I think they all keep an eye out to see who's getting close, who is a threat to their freedom, things to make Kathy stop and think. Like Kathy, I'm sure on the day Sebastian disappeared, you were talking about getting new jewelry. You probably weren't thinking about a nice shiny used handcuffs. Stainless steel, not platinum. I'm sorry. That caught me off guard. No, Lisa B always. I want to cry. But we found the source. You must either really love Katie or really hate Sebastian. You are willing to give up everything for this case or this cause. That's a lot of platinum, jewelry and RVs, grandbabies, positions and prestige, and that $1 million home. But Alec Murdaugh gave up everything for prison too. I don't know. I kind of like how this is going. I do not think she thought it would ever get this far. I don't think she loves Katie. I think she never liked Katie. I actually had that impression too, to be honest with you. I felt because the relationship with Chris and his mom, I don't think is a very good relationship. And she seems like a weird lady for a variety of reasons. I think she does hate Sebastian. She loves nice things. Check out her Instagram and Pinterest account. She lives for her family's position in Sumner County. She would kill for her grandkids for all the wrong reasons. Sebastian is not in that category, of course. She loves her husband and has a career in the RV industry that allows them to have the lifestyle of traveling in a $250,000 RV across the continent. Wow. She loves her business, Kathy Guy Platinum Realty, and I keep letting her know what she is throwing away and that we will not let this go away. I use the word platinum with Kathy a lot. It defines what she wants out of life, which is the very best. Anything other than platinum to her is settling. I imagine that she never felt good enough, no matter how hard she tried. Getting inside of her head, to me, is the key to solving this. It's not Katie. Chris has control of Katie, and they have both been trained in the U.S. military and interrogation-resistant techniques. We saw how angry Chris got when Seth mentioned Kathy and Terry. Oh, that's true. That's true. He was ready to wage war. If you want to get to Chris, it's not through Katie, it's through Kathy. But be prepared for nuclear reaction and action. Wow! Actually makes sense. Get to mom. Get to mom. I believe that. I remember that was somebody else told me that. Somebody else told me that once upon a time, long time ago. Same person that was reaching out to a lot of people's moms. Get to mom. Mom will break. Mom, you know what? Maybe we need to start pressuring Kathy Bowersox for some information. I mean, we do have all our information pretty much. I mean, maybe we should be looking at her, because at the end of the day, who would they have called? They would have called mom. Who else do they have? She's got no mom to call. She's got no dad to call. they would have called his mom. She's really got nobody on her side of the family that could help her. I'm sure everybody on her side of the family she looked down on. She probably cut ties with probably just about everybody on her mom's side of the family, I would think. She breaks to save her lifestyle. Yeah. Well, I always thought that they lived above their means. Everybody kept saying Kathy Bowersox, and I was looking into their background. It didn't look like Kathy Bowersox and Terry really had all that much money. I mean, they were living in like a $200,000 or $300,000 home, which is average. And it seemed like, honestly, it was Chris and Katie that had all the money in the family outside of the uncle, Big D. It seemed like, he was trying to be more in line with Big D's lifestyle than his mom or Katie's family's lifestyle. Yes, we should talk. Yeah, we should talk to Chris's mom 100%. Because I always found that their trip leaving was always peculiar. And I felt like they, after being interrogated by law enforcement, they just knew they needed to get out of Dodge. They knew that this wasn't, I think Terry and Kathy knew that they just needed to get out of Dodge. Because they knew something wasn't right, even if they had no knowledge, which I doubt they had no knowledge. I think this was a family affair. Chris has always called his mom for muscle, his mom and his uncle. So, and like I said, I don't think that Chris had the best relationship with his mother when he was younger, which, basically to me implied that she was, probably not paying a lot of attention to her son. And maybe paying attention to other places. Just saying. My opinion solely, I believe Kathy Bowersox brought up CP buying our jewelry in front of LE and Seth to show CP and Katie how easily she could blow up the entire investigation. I think it was just nervousness. They didn't know what to talk about. And I think that they knew they needed to keep their mouths shut in front of Seth. So I think, I really do think Seth probably looked at all of them and was like, they're just sitting around shooting the breeze, doing absolutely nothing to find his son. And I think that ain't his cup of tea. He wants to find his son. He wants to know where his son is. I don't know how uncomfortable that must have been sitting in the house and listening to them talk about that stuff. She wasn't you didn't hear anybody talk about her being on the phone frantic. Every time we have parents, let's look at this Soto. The docket dropped this whole thing, but you see all of them in the office. Everybody's kind of anxious. I don't know if you guys saw it. I don't want to play it because he just dropped it. I don't like playing stuff like that when they just drop. I always like to give them 24 or 48 hours after they drop before I play it. So I'm probably not going to play it on here, but if you guys have it, you should go over to the docket. He dropped the body cam footage of Jen Soto in the Madeline Soto case. And in that, I don't know, that video, it looks like they're at her mother's office, and the whole office is filled with family, so the whole office is filled with, family members and stuff like that. It was a circus in there. When I was surprised to see that many people, but she had her entire family there, and it looked like everybody was very concerned, and they had none of that. They had Kathy and Katie there and Seth. And mom's not freaking out. Mom's not on the phone. Mom's not calling everybody. Mom's not calling the school. Mom's not calling around to the stores. Mom's not, she's not doing that. She didn't tell Seth to go hit all the stores up and down the road, to see if they've seen their son anytime during the day. She didn't do any of that. Those are all the things I expect from a mom, because I've seen moms in action. When shit hits the fan, mom's like, you need to do this, do this, do this. You do this, you do this. Get on the phone, call law enforcement, call this person. We need to get this thing done. It is that. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying. I got 90% women in here. Tell me I'm lying. You guys would be taking command of the situation. You would be making a list. You would be taking anything and everything you can to try to figure out where your son was and making those calls. Why wasn't she on the phone calling all the stores up and down that road, seeing if they seen anybody walking that day? There were so many calls to be had. There was so much work she could have been doing to help find her son, and she did none of it. None of it. None of their family ever showed up for any searches. And now we got them shutting up, shutting down, and nobody can come on anywhere or anything, and nobody can talk to them unless you want to be their friend, like Don Wells. Never answering some of the most basic questions in this case. Where were you, Chris? He still hasn't told us. He still hasn't told us. At this point, what difference does it make? You were in Memphis doing what? Okay, you guys were on the phone for 3 hours. What did you talk about? Not one time did they ever discuss with the public how they could possibly be maintaining a 3-hour conversation. What kinds of stuff did they talk about? How could you just be on the phone? They were asked, how can you be on the phone? I just want to be crystal clear. We did have a significant call on the phone. Well, what did you talk about? If you're going to have a 3-hour conversation, what did you talk about? What did you talk about? Still don't even know. So we don't know where Chris was. We don't know if he was in his camper. We don't know if he was at a hotel. We don't know if he was out to drinks with another night lady, lady of the night, right? We don't know. We have no idea what Chris was doing. He just says he was in Memphis, and we have to believe it. So, okay, you were in Memphis, and we have to believe it. Okay, then you had a 3-hour conversation with Katie. What did you talk about? And then every time anybody talks about it, it's always, oh, well, I was talking to him, I was working, I was reading my book for my class. None of it makes sense. How do you sleep, read a book, study for school, talk, take care of your son, hear a thud, not move, but fall asleep, wake up, put the dogs away, and go to bed? I don't know how. I got lost with, and I think I brought it up like 1,000 times. I literally got lost with, I talked to my husband for 3 hours while studying for school. And I remember coming up with the little thing, like I can walk and chew gum, but I can't walk, chew gum, and tap my head. And that's just a little bit too much. A little bit too much. I don't know if I've got a lot of still unread messages here. I'm still going through them. Some of these are a little long-winded, as you know, because you guys write them. And when I'm dealing with mountains and mountains of paperwork, it's hard for me to get through those novels of emails. So when I get a novel of emails, I kind of star you and I read the short ones, and then I try to come back to you guys later. Just thought I'd throw that out there. If we're being honest, I love hearing from all of you, and I do read them. But the longer you are, the longer in line you go. Okay, I'm just saying. So I try to read them all. Sometimes I can only do the little thumbnails of a thumbs up, a heart, or something like that. Because I'm like, I only have so much time to do it, but I want you to know that I read your email. So you got to look for those little thingies too. Because sometimes I may just give you a thumbs up, I may give you a heart, I may give you a laughy emoji or something like that. So as a Grammy, I would be a force to be reckoned with. One of my little ones or my adult children was missing, I would move head. Yeah, I guess I don't understand those initial, the initial actions either. Like, we've been looking at all these actions since we saw this case, from day 8 and on. But what were all those initial actions, at that day? And those initial actions don't sound or bode right for the situation. So I think that if nothing more, we did kind of get clarification on that. I think it was very commendable and respectful that Seth didn't really want to talk about Katie or get into that. Obviously, he had some things that he wanted people to know, and he put those on the record. But for the most part, as far as diving deep into disparaging Katie or anything like that, he wasn't willing to do. And, I got to respect him for that. And I didn't really push on the issue. I knew the situation and I didn't want to make it worse. And I figured I'd ask the questions, and if he could answer, he'd answer. And as soon as they wanted to shut down on Katie, I just moved over. I had like 4, maybe, I don't know, I guess maybe 6 or 7 actually questions about Katie and Kathy that morning there at the Bowersox, or at the Proudfoot's home. I was interested in his response about Kathy. He was not a fan of Kathy. He did not like her. He did not vibe with her at all. Didn't seem like he had the highest impression of her. Kathy was the first thing, would be interesting to know when she arrived. Yeah, that was the bad part. She was already there when Seth got there. But see, this is interesting because we have audio. I think we have audio of dispatch or law enforcement at the house, and Katie wasn't there yet. That was odd to me too, because my understanding, she had left before they made the phone call. And she was only a quarter mile down the road. And it takes, I think, I want to say 6 minutes, I think they said was their arrival time. So it makes me wonder, how she wasn't home when they got there, if she's calling them on her way back to the house, or she was already at the house at the time she called them, because she specifically said that she drove around to look for Sebastian, and then they called. She was a wreck, and Chris called. And that was at 6:33 or 6:34. You add 6 or 7 minutes to that. That kind of tells you where they came in. So it looks like they all probably arrived at 6:40. Does that sound about right? I think they would have arrived like around the 6:40, 6:45 mark. Why is he protective of Kathy and Katie? Because you know what? They may have been the one that had to take care of everything that night. If you really want to be honest, Ginger, we have no proof Chris came back. And we got people saying that they swear that they saw Kathy at Warsham's. It hasn't been corroborated, but we have people that swear they saw her there. And it makes you wonder, why was she there? So Chris has got a wife and a mom kind of involved in something that I could see why he's acting the way he's acting. Actually bodes right into the theory of where we're at. Honestly. That's just my opinion, though, but I think that's why it makes him so crazy, because they're both involved. Like, if this goes down, it sounds like the whole family's going. I believe that it's false. Betty interviewed him, and there is no money exchanged. There was no money exchanged. Hold on, let me see what Joanne's question was. I wonder if it's true that Seth wants money for interviews. You can't believe it. Oh, good gracious. No, that man has never asked for a damn thing. He even all his GoFundMe is if you want to support. He's never, and I can tell you, I have never, there's, out of all the people I know, and I've known all the people he's interviewed with, I've never heard that ever. If people are like saying that about him, they are literally lying through their teeth. Absolutely 100% lying through their teeth. Now, the only other nuance to that would be if somebody's impersonating him, which we know that there have been, like even our justice for Sebastian Rogers, we had a Seth Rogers infiltrate us. And I think we just automatically forget, that he doesn't have these accounts. And so when we see him, we just accept him. So, that is, I think that could also be because it might be somebody impersonating him and going in places and saying, hey, I'll interview with you for this. But I can tell you personally, I know for a fact Seth is not doing that himself. If there's anything, any type of message like that, it's coming from somebody impersonating him or a troll, or just somebody spreading around intentional misinformation. He was at home when Seth got there. No, Chris was not there. Chris didn't arrive there until about 1 or 1:30, I believe. They are saying he was asking for money at CrimeCon. That's why they are talking about it. I don't believe anybody. I don't believe anybody. That man is not asking for money. I don't believe anybody. Now, if he's like, "Hey, do you got a buck on you?" Because they take, I do that with all my friends. I mean, that's something different. Begging for, I don't see that. I don't see that at all. I don't see that at all. And I don't know why people would say that. A little bit of everything. Tony debunked that. Meredith, many people are confused. It's best to make your own mind up from information you discover. Who's Meredith? Let me see what Meredith has to say. There is just this hard divide now on how people are covering the case. I'm confused. Some are really going at it's because, okay, so what happened, Meredith, is Seth started out with one team, and these teams had big channels, and they were bringing a lot of BS to him and his case and his son's case. And so he distanced himself from them, and it upset them. And then they started doing some stuff behind the scenes, and he sent cease and desist letters, which further enraged them. And so they took their platforms with hundreds of thousands of people and directed it at Seth because they're angry and they're throwing a temper tantrum. And all they have done is take the focus away from the real people that should have the focus. And they took the focus away from Sebastian Rogers, which is the person we should have nothing but the focus on, all over petty hurt feelings. And they drove this bus, and because I won't let them destroy this man anymore, they are all having temper tantrums, and now they're all bashing me with their little tentacle hate channel. So you can all see who's associated with who now, and what hate channels are associated with them, backing them up too. So now you see how these people are actually associated with these nasty ass channels as well. So that's why they're going after Seth. It's not that Seth did anything wrong. They started passing out bunk information about Tony to make him look horrible in the eyes of the people. And when I looked in his background, he was clean as a freaking whistle. It pissed me off. This is why I'm sorry. This is why I'm taking this channel. After seeing what I saw happen, I would never have believed it. I would have never believed it if I didn't see it with my own eyes. But I saw how manipulative these channels can be and how they will manipulate their audience to drive a narrative when they're pissed off, even if it's pointed at an innocent man. And that, to me, I will never support. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. As a matter of fact, I did just the opposite, and I came here and started screaming from the rooftops about what I was seeing going on behind these scenes. All over a bunch of hurt feelings from unprofessional shitbags. Doing this to this father. It's disgusting. It's appalling. I want no part of it. None. And shame on all of them. I don't give a rat's ass how large their channels are. You know what? I said we're going to create this on good platforms. We're going to create this on good platforms. And I promise you in another year or two, we're going to blow those shit channels out of the water. Watch me work. And not just those shit channels. We're going to be doing it on all 4 of our channels. All 4 of our channels are going to be producing numbers. And we'll never, ever, ever allow something like this to happen again. That was bullshit. So Meredith, if you're wanting to know, what I would do is anybody bitching about Seth on these horrible allegations, honestly, is unsubscribe. Because he's an innocent man and he has lost his son. And it's disgusting what these content creators are doing to this man. Disgusting. An innocent man that was on camera at the time, the only person out there looking for his son. It's horrible. It's horrible. And I saw a lot of the creators that were kind of going off the rails that are getting back on the rails, you know? So I feel like things are calming down too in the sense, but you know, it's still upsetting that how dare them do that? Like, I didn't, we're supposed to be the good guys. We're not perfect or anything, but we're supposed to be better than that nonsense. I have never in my life. I can promise you that. That was some straight up BS that I saw. Straight up BS. I don't want no part of that. I'm absolutely ashamed that is what they call true crime. Nope. 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 Mm-mm. Nope. Nope. I work my ass off to make sure if we do point the finger in a direction, it's the right direction. I work my ass off to make sure that happens. And I'm not ever going to put myself, not for a friendship. Sorry, not when it comes to this type of case. Not when it comes to this type of case. Seth was the only parent looking for his son. He's the only parent. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Absolutely. I wish I could, maybe I can pin your comment. There you go. Absolutely. Thank you. So I'm over it. I don't want no part of that. They can all kiss my ass. I'm done. I'll have my friendships, the ones that I love, that I know love me, whether we're just kind of having to agree to disagree. There's a couple out there that I'm not talking to because I just had to agree to disagree on this, but I love them to death. And they are keeping it about Sebastian. Still to this day are keeping it about Sebastian. And I love them for that. But I just needed to pump the brakes, sister, and move this right on over. Yeah, I saw that coming like a freaking nope, ain't doing it. So that's where we're at. We're going to continue to do this. I don't aspire. I have learned that I am not promoting any other channels. I'm not like Sweet Misery and things like that. New channels getting started and getting off the ground. I want to do everything I can to get them off the ground so they can do good content, because there's certain, the trash that we got out here right now is trash. So I'll absolutely will support, but I'm talking about like these, where I'm giving credit to this person and saying they're doing some stuff just to keep the peace. I'm done with that shit. I love Justice for All, and I love Chronicles of Olivia. I've got people that are my friends, people that I got to watch my back to, but I mean, I'm friendly with just about anybody on here. But I am who I am. I'm not going to let an injustice happen. And that's what happened. And I kind of got off the rails myself. So we're just going to be pulling it back on the rails and getting it back to where we need to be. I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow, on the Sebastian Rogers case, but I think we need to kind of keep, in the interviews. I think we've all agreed that the information we need to seek is going to be in these interviews. So I think that's where we got to keep our focus. We need to go back to the beginning. I got all of the interviews literally in order, from the first to the second to the third. So I know somebody was talking about doing a interview marathon, and I think we might be able to pull it off in part. And I will see how we can do all this, but I've got to let me see how we can do all this. I'm not sure how I'm going to be able to work it for you guys, but we'll do a marathon. I may have to I'll reach out to the creators, some of the creators. The news people I'm not too worried about. They're usually gracious. And so I'm not worried about the news people, but it's the other creators. Like, I'm not worried about Chronicles of Olivia. I've already got her. I've had blanket permission for her stuff, just like she's had blanket permission for me. But it's the other people. Like, I don't worry about like Web Sleuth or Duchess or anything like that, because they're like me. It's all about just getting the information out there. So they don't care. They really don't care. The only time I care is when people take the stuff and use it to criticize. It's not even criticize. It's just straight hate. You don't have to take somebody's stuff and just drive it into the ground to show it. As long as it's newsworthy, you don't have to be nasty to it all the time just to get through, fair use. You could actually be just a normal person and still survive fair use. Just FYI, you don't have to criticize if there's nothing to be critical of? You know, somebody saying, getting up and blowing their nose is not like a state secret. You know, it's not like you need to stop and slow it down and, you know, get some foot action going in with a snot rag. I mean, come on. I have heard so much about Seth's past marriage with Katie. It feels yucky because what are they saying? Yeah, you know, that is, I don't even know where they got that information. Everybody's been miscalculating. They're throwing stuff in that cannot be corroborated just to make Seth look bad. The bottom line is Katie got pregnant with or had Sebastian when she was 19 years old. Okay? 19 years old. They have a problem because they have a significant age difference. I had a significant age difference with my husband, my ex-husband. Significant, over 10 years. So, you know, what is it? It should my ex-husband be, you know, beaten? Should he have, you know, all of this if his kid or grandkid disappears? You know, there's stuff in our, you know, stuff from me and in our history, court papers, LE complaints and incidences, you name it, we got it. Does that mean he doesn't love his kids and doesn't love his grandkids? I mean, I'm just curious, because according to the standard we're applying to Seth, my ex-husband doesn't deserve to find his grandkids or his daughter if they go missing. He deserves to be treated like pure crap. He deserves to be, you know, smeared across social media. He deserves to have people planted in his life. He deserves to have photos of his inside of his home by a trusted person to be posted all over social media. And oh my gosh, can't understand why Seth's so angry. Jeez, couldn't try to explain that for one second. They would try to make you think that they did nothing wrong and this is all Seth, and Seth has this explosive personality. Well, if you just infiltrated my life and sent somebody into my home, you know, I don't know how I'd feel about that either. I guarantee you, it'd probably be a lot worse than whatever Seth did. I can promise you that. That's how I feel. Life is messy and it's hard, you know? Yeah, exactly. I'm so sick of this double standard. I'm so sick of it. Me and my ex, we made so much mistakes. We did a lot of stupid shit. And we were old enough to know better. Actually, that's a lie, Michelle. That's another thing you guys can do. Convictions, 42 convictions. You know, I've been arrested twice for DUI. Those are my convictions. I've been convicted of 2 crimes. Did they tell you that? Or do you need to be told that? A lot different than 2 convictions, huh? You didn't have to delete that, Sonia. I like people seeing how stupid people are. I literally have a DUI. I have been arrested and convicted of a DUI in 2007 and one in 2011. I had a violation of probation from me going over to my ex-boyfriend's house and having an altercation at the time. That's the extent of my actual conviction record. Have I been arrested a lot? Oh, yeah, I've been arrested a lot, 42 times. Like, I ain't got it like that, baby. You know, I'm sorry. I mean, I've been hitting those double digits. I'm telling you, I remember there for a while, I was getting arrested every 6 months. And I was on probation. So as soon as they let me out of jail, they would be knocking on my door within 24 hours to arrest me for the VOP. So, why are you bullshitting? Okay. Yeah, I got myself in a message of 42. Not even close, baby. Not even close. Not even close. But I tell you, it was like, I mean, I remember going in front of the judge, and I remember I knew I was on probation, and when he gave me my bail, I'm like, I'll pay cash for the bail, Your Honor. I said, can we just go ahead and clear it? I said, you're going to sign a place, you're going to sign the record for me to go ahead and be violated for my probation. I said, can we just do it this time? I said, every time I keep bonding myself out, I said, you keep coming and picking me up a day or two later and bringing me back. And I just bonded out. Like, can we just go ahead and wrap both of these together today, Your Honor? I mean, if you're going to get me, just go ahead and hit me up for the VOP. Let me just go ahead and bond out for all of it, Your Honor. I mean, do I seriously have to sit around and wait at the house for you guys to come pick me up again? I mean, come on. Come on. Like, I was on a first name basis with a judge. Okay, hey Mark, how you doing? What are you doing back? Well, I didn't do it. I don't know what to tell you, Your Honor, but I know I didn't do it. Not guilty. I am serious. Do you think I sit over here and lie like all these people in these hate channels that you go over to do? I don't lie. I have nothing to hide, honey. I don't really care what anybody thinks about my history. I'm here. I'm alive. I survived, baby. A lot. And while you trying up here I'm proud of where I came from and how far I've come. While you sitting there trying to put your foot on my neck. Ha, baby. Didn't work that well, did it? Didn't work that well. You live and you learn. Nola's mom, that's not true. I will tell you that my 20s, no, I liked hitting that wall over and over and over again. No, live and learn. No, my 20s were, I think that was probably my most knuckleheaded time of my life. Nobody could tell me anything. And no, I did the same damn mistake over and over again. I was one of them. It was great. But the good news is I don't remember it anymore. So, hey, if I don't remember, it didn't happen. The older I get, the less I remember. I'm loving it. Well, you learn in your 40s. I survived my charges too, baby. Be proud. Yeah. Well, it's just because, again, I'm letting everybody know it's okay. It's okay not to be perfect. Isn't it wonderful? What? Like, everybody's like, oh, you can't say this. You can't do that. I can't believe she did that. Yeah. I'm all American. Okay. I'm all American. And I'm sorry. I just don't know anybody that's truly American without going and taking a trip to the pokey. Okay. I think everybody needs the experience at least once, but don't do it to get yourself in too much trouble. But you know what? I'm all about the experiences. I think that it's educational. I know the hate channels are going to kill me for this. They're going to be like, Betty's telling everybody to break the law. They got animals over there. She's supposed to be true crime, and she's telling them and she hopes they go to jail. I'm just saying, if you did, nobody's looking. It's like Las Vegas in there, unless you know somebody, and then you know what you do. You run to the phones and you stay on the phones really long and you have your back toward everybody. Nobody will see you until you hog the phones too long, and then they're ready to kick your ass. I'm just joking. I don't know too much about Gen Pop. I have to be honest with you. I was one of those medical babies, right? Every time I go there, I'm like, I'm not going into General Pop. I feel like I'm going to be a harm to myself or somebody else. Turtle suit. All right. You guys had enough fun with me. We'll see what YouTube churns and burns with this live. We'll see what YouTube churns and burns with this live. Because we don't care. We don't care. Anybody watching? I'm Bullhorn Betty on you clip channels, on the hate channels. I'm Bullhorn Betty. You can actually come over here and have a lot more fun. Just letting you know. Just thought we'd throw that out there for you. They will. Let me out. Here, hold on. Let me get the thumbnail picture for them. Or there you go. There you go, hate channels. Don't say I never gave you nothing for free. All right, guys, I love you. God bless. Rock it out with your coffee beans out. I'm done for the day, and we'll see you tomorrow morning sometime. So I don't know what to say. Just another day. Pray for me. God bless.